Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman, so I get a lot of emails from different watch brands, usually promotional stuff, and an email came through just the other day offering gift ideas. And the brand that put this out is an interesting one. So you can find this brand and their watches in skate shops or surf shops. There was actually a full display case of these watches in a surf shop that I went to while I was on vacation in San Diego. You can find them at malls, and like other brands that are kind of mall brands, a lot of their designs suffer from size issues. So watches that would be perfectly fine are made so large that they actually come off as cheap. Yeah, but I actually own a couple of their watches. This is the large men's variant, and the battery's dead currently. I don't wear this one. I have the smaller ladies version, which is actually a good size for this design. However, it is disassembled because I need to order a battery for that one as well. But these are fun, translucent pieces. I've actually gone to a jewelry store and had someone comment on it. Said it was a pretty cool looking watch. I've owned these for a very long time. So they don't make them anymore, sadly. But so far they've held up pretty well. And because of these watches, I kind of almost have a soft spot for this brand. So I figured tonight we'll look at some of their pieces in their catalog. We'll do the good, the bad, and the ugly in reverse order and see what this brand's designs are all about. And I think in the future I will revisit this brand because there's another category of watches that they put out and I just don't have time to cover them in this video. So let's dive in. We've got a lot of watches to look at. Let us begin. Okay, so I have a couple of watches in the ugly category. And the first piece is in this part of the list because one, it's 51 millimeters in size, so it's very large. And two, it just kind of looks cheap, kind of looks like a Wish watch. Not great. And wait till you see the lume on these pieces. So this is the 5130 Chrono. And because these watches are so large, look at where the chronograph subdials are. They're squished up right in the middle of the dial because that's how small the movement inside these are. And honestly, all the colorways of these are not great. The oversized hour markers are a lot. And interestingly, the crown and pushers are on the other side of the case from what you would normally find. The chronograph dials are so distracting to me, and I just don't understand why they're so huge. The days of monstrous Invictas and Diesels are kind of outdated. I mean, you know what I mean. It's been a while since those pieces were in their heyday. And furthermore, even though these look really cheap and not great, they are not cheap. These retail for over $500, which is wild because they're quartz watches with mineral crystals. The next piece in my ugly list is this particular one in this particular colorway. The turquoise and yellow gold. I mean, in the wrist shots, it doesn't look too bad, but in just the images of the watch, I do like the zero padded hour indices on this, and the fluted bezel is pretty cool. The design isn't really that horrible, but these are also pretty large at 48 millimeters. However, they aren't over $500. but they are nearly $300. Now for some of the bad. And I have a few of these. The first one is a rounded square design, and the design itself isn't that bad. I kind of like it. I like the interesting choice of hands, the case shape and design isn't bad, the dial is great, and it's a no-date piece. It doesn't appear to be overly thick, and actually, now that I'm looking at the wrist shots for this piece, maybe I put it in the wrong category. This actually isn't that bad at all. I think when I first put it in this category, I had only looked at one of the wrist shots and it looked huge. So it was mainly for the case size given this design that I put it in the bad category, but now that I've looked at other wrist shots, it's actually kind of cool. Whoops. These retail for $200. And with all of their watches, all the ones that I've looked at least, you're getting a quartz piece with a mineral crystal. Next up we have the Nirvana watch, and yes, that is a reference to the band. And this one almost fit into a category that I want to do as a follow-up video that I mentioned earlier, but I don't know. That dial is kind of painful. I mean, I like fun watches, I like it when brands do fun artsy things, but I don't know. The red and yellow gradient is a lot. Coupled with the huge Nirvana letters around the dial. No. Yeah, this one's in my bad category. It's 42 millimeters, so we're getting down there, but I feel like with this design, that'll be pretty big. Pretty big. And these retail for $300. Kind of a lot. The next watch is the Century watch, and I put this in the bad category because I feel like the design is just kind of meh. Like nothing about it really is all that great. It's just kind of beige. It's a beige design. It has a day date window on it, and I actually kind of like day dates, even though I'm not a fan of date windows in general, but this one is just cut out of the dial. I feel like if it had a nice frame around it, it would look decent, but it also looks a bit cramped. Like the letters and numbers barely fit into that cutout. I'm not sure why the hands are skeletonized. There's no need for that, and it would be more legible if they weren't. It'd probably look better if it had a really long seconds hand, like it went all the way to the very edge of the dial. It's just not a great design, just kind of blah. They're 42 millimeters, and they retail for over $300. The last watch I have in the bad category is the Corporal stainless steel, and I actually like this design. We have some more zero padded hour indices. I like how that bezel is tooly looking and yet it's fluted. That's pretty cool. The almost crosshairs in the center are nice. These are no date pieces. They look like submarine watches. But the main problem with them again is the size. These have nearly 50 millimeter cases on them. And I feel like if this design was done in 40 millimeters, it would look great. However, look at the lume. What? Why even put lume on a watch if you're not going to lume the indices? And this isn't the only design that is that way. I forgot to show you the lume shot of the chronograph. Yeah, that's a problem. You've just made your watch into a Movado museum minus the dot anytime you're trying to read it in total darkness. And these retail for almost $300. Okay, so now we're getting into the good designs. And this first one is called the Banks. And check that out. That's pretty cool looking. I love the case shape on these and the way they did the crystal. They are 40 millimeters, which is large for a square-shaped watch, but these are cool. So you can have 2 different time zones on them, I think. There is a sub-dial there with an hour and minutes hand. So I'm assuming you could set them to different times. If not, well, I guess they just look cool. From the side, they have a great curve to them. They aren't super thick. However, in wrist shots, they do look large. And they're kind of expensive at nearly $500. And the next watch is the Scout. And at first I wasn't sure if these were too boxy, but the more I looked at them, the more I really liked them. And what's wild about these watches is they're 35 millimeters. So these are field watch size, and they're field watches. Perfect. I like the dial design. I like the super blocky, tooly hands. And I kind of like that square faceted case. They almost have a composite look to them, but they're actually made of steel. The wrist shots look great. Yeah, I like these watches. I probably would actually wear them. And they're quite affordable at $125. Next up, we have a super minimalist piece. Kind of dressy, even though the case is brushed. And these are the Time Teller watches. Time Teller, I know that name. I love how absolutely minimal they are. All they have are batten markers for the hours, no minutes track. The hands are stick hands, super minimal, love it. The silver colorway looks great. They're 37 millimeters. They have quite a few different colorways to choose from. And they retail for under $200. These watches are really cool. And we're getting into sort of normal case sizes too. I mean, sub 40 millimeters, great. There's no date window. I kind of like the Nixon branding at the 3 o'clock. A little bit of asymmetry is fine. You've got this. And look at this colorway, kind of a Milgausse style. That is super cool. I absolutely love the blue, green, and yellow. Oh, these pieces are cool. Now with this brand, I've always liked their LCD designs. I mean, the Comp, the one that I own, is my favorite of all the designs that I've seen for their LCD ones, and I like the translucency in the watches that I own. They used to sell those in different colors, and those were translucent. Sadly, I haven't seen any in their catalog anymore. No pieces that are clear or fun in that way. But this next design is their Ripper. You can get it in different colorways. They even have a Decepticon colorway of black and purple. But these are just nice basic LCD watches, kind of retro-y. From the side, they look pretty thick. But in wrist shots, they seem to be fine. And these retail for $100. Oh, and the case size is 36.5 millimeters. Next up, we have a Thule Diver design. They only have 100 meters of water resistance, and that's kind of typical with most of their watches. I think they have some that might have less, but all the ones that I've taken note of the water resistance on are 100 meters. So this is a dive style watch. It has kind of a Blancpain 50 fathoms bezel style. I love the white ring around the edge of the dial where the minutes track is. The crown is on the opposite side of what you would typically see, which if you're right-handed is fine. It won't be digging into your wrist. Trust me, because I'm left-handed and that's never a problem for me. I like the handset. I like the dial design. Yeah, these are great looking pieces. However, they're 44 millimeters, so they're pretty large. But if you have large wrists, all right. And they retail for a bit over $300. Okay, now we're down to the last watch, and this is one that's actually tempting. It's a tank style watch. Not really dressy, but it could be. So this is their Frankie watch. And it ships on a bracelet, but if you put this on a strap, on a nice leather strap, this could be kind of dressy. And look at that dial design. That is so cool. This lineup is available in other dial designs as well, but this one is just absolutely amazing looking. I love the K shape, and again, that dial. I like the super ultra thin handset they went with, and the case size on these is 24 millimeters, which sounds really tiny, but it's a tank style watch. So this is very similar in size to my Dolce Vita and to the yellow gold Reverso homage that I just received from a watch trade. There are some wrist shots, both men and women wearing this piece. It does look kind of small on the bracelet though. I feel like if we saw a shot of that guy wearing this watch, but it's on a leather strap, I feel like it would look like the correct size for the design, but that's just me. Yeah, I could see me wearing these watches. In fact, I may have to note them. That one dial is just so cool. And these retail for $200. Like their other pieces, they have 100 meters of water resistance, and unfortunately mineral crystals. And they're quartz. So this is a long video. What I may do is revisit this brand because they also make really fun artsy pieces. Kind of like the Nirvana one, but not so painful to look at. So I may go over those in a future video, if you're interested in seeing that. Thanks for watching.